All right, welcome back, everyone. We've got another quarterfinals matchup coming to you live right now. This time, it is a winner's bracket match, our first winner's bracket match of the weekend here at the Corsace Open 2021. It is going to be a very fun matchup to watch, I'm sure. My name is Dio. I'm going to be joined in this cast by Demarsh for the first time on the desk this weekend. How's it going, Demarsh?
How's it going, dear? I'm really excited. I love Corsace. I love the whole match draft format, and I'm really excited for this match. We've got some amazing players coming up. I can't wait.
Before we get into talk of the teams and everything, we do want to go over the map draft format here. And for clarity during the explanation, you can see Team 1 and Team 2 with the different pick and ban orders here. The first thing that's different about the map draft format, especially this week, is that there are now match bans, and we've got 3 different sets. So we'll talk a little bit about the pick and ban order for each team. You can see on the screen already, but the biggest changes, like I said, is that after each set, instead of a team just winning the first set and winning the entire match, we have a best of 3 sets, so 3 different best of 7s can be played in total. The first team to win 2 different best of 7s will win the matchup. And after each set, we also introduce what are called match bans. Those are those extra little red squares over on the side. Match bans are bans from each team that are carried over from each previous set and added on to the normal pick and ban order in the current set. So teams will pick one of their bans from the previous set to lock in permanently for the entire rest of the match. And each team gets 1 match ban in set 2 and 1 more match ban in set 3. And those match bans, again, stay removed through both sets 2 and 3. So we're going to have up to 8 maps banned out in the 3rd set of any match this weekend, if we do get to a 3rd set for any of these matchups. And honestly, with the caliber of teams that we're going to be watching in this matchup, I hope we get to a set 3. Let's take a look at some of the rosters for them and go over what we expect to happen in this match right now.
Yeah, so going over sort of P model, we can see obviously the team of consists of Skill, Pico Camping, FG Sky, Utami, Arnold 24x24, Reedcat, Majora, and Sawada. An insane roster full of tons and tons of really good, consistent all-round players. You talk about Reedcat, Arnold, Utami, Pico Camping. Those are the sorts of players that most in the tournament scene will recognize as just really good all-rounders, especially in individual tournament performances. But when you bring a team like this together, and you bring in players like Skill and FG Sky and Majora and Sawada, for like the speed, you create a very, very nice team comp here where you have your core lineups, and then you just bring in those unique players who are really good on high skill cap maps to edge the maps in a team's favor. P model, of course, top seed, very good team.
Yeah, as you mentioned, they are the top seed out of qualifiers for that reason. A really well put together team with a sort of core 4 all-rounders in, I believe, Pekka being Utami, Arnold, and Reedcat, and then 4 players who go in for particular types of maps: Skill, FG Sky, Majora, and Sawada. On the other side, on AR7 SlopDozer, however, you've got another sort of similar team composition, I think, with a couple of players who they look to in general to put out carry performances rather than more consistent team score. We've got Jordan the Bear, Lifeline, Rafis, Webwolf, Uti, Shirahayuki, Monk the Dawn, and Grand Senpai on the team for AR7 SlopDozer. So this team in general tends to lean a little into some of the more raw mechanics. You can see on their stats there at the bottom of the screen that generally their better performances have been on No Mod, Hard Rock, and Double Time for this team. And with a core group of players like Jordan the Bear, Lifeline, Rafis, Monk the Dawn, Shirahayuki, like all of these players are very, very strong on most of the mechanics maps, but they've got some players on there, Shirahayuki being one of them, but Grand Senpai, Webwolf as well, who are going to be very strong on some of the more unconventional maps in this pool, as well as UT going in sort of on a lot of the more mechanics-focused maps, staying out on some of those more unconventional picks, the reading picks, the tech picks, the alt maps in the pool as well. So this is a matchup between two teams with relatively well put together rosters who are, again, competing to stay in the winner's bracket, competing for a spot in the winner's bracket semifinals rather than competing to stay in the tournament at all. It looks like we do have both teams in the lobby right now. AR7 SlopDozer is going to be Team 1 in this matchup. They are going to have first ban and first pick in each of our different sets. So the bottom team is going to be the team banning and picking first in each round. And they are going to start off with a no mod 5 ban against a team like P Model, where you've got like Majora, Sawada, Arnold, Utami, even Intercambing, right, are all very, very strong speed players. I really do like the lean into getting away from some of the raw tapping mechanics, especially when the mechanics players on the side of AR7 SlopDozer, Lifeline, Rawfist, Jordan the Bear, are known less for the raw tapping ability and raw speed than they are for their aim mechanics in general. So I think a lean into some of the more aim-heavy mechanics maps is likely what AR7 SlopDozer is going to be going for. But even then, it's definitely not locked in. You've still got players like Skill, Intercambing, Reed Cat on the side of P Model who are going to be able to put up those high scores on aim maps as well.
Yeah, and again, like you mentioned, we're just getting towards the end of the timer here, and no second ban has come out. Oh no, there it is, Hidden One. So we see that Hidden One ban come in. I think a very sensible ban, to be honest. I don't really see that they're gonna have a great time against this P Model lineup on Hidden One. So very sensible ban. But again, with this first set, it's all about getting a feel for your opponents, really, because like you mentioned, with the second and third set now, you get a chance to sort of lock away picks that were particularly troublesome in the first set. Because of course bans carry over, so we will see, especially once we get into the second set, much more focused bans. But this first set is really just about testing the water and just seeing, what are the team feeling like on individual maps today.
Yeah, and we see an aim ban come through for P Model. Clearly, knowing that AR7 SlopDozer has those aim players, they in turn are going to be picking up no mod 1 to start us off. And again, against a team like Skill, Intercambing, Reed Cat, even Utami or FG Sky or Arnold can go in on no mod 1 and still put up a very good performance. But I think AR7 SlopDozer clearly know that when it comes to the mechanics maps, they're going to be favored on the aim picks, and P Model is going to be favored on the tapping picks. Your DT2, your no mod 5, your no mod 2, right? The standard stream stamina picks and likely high speed picks as well, though. Some of the players on AR7 SlopDozer are no slouches when it comes to those high-speed picks, particularly Monk and Rafis, I think, are, along with Lifeline, going to be potent on maps like Double Time 3. I think P Model is probably going to lean more into the Double Time 2, No Mod 2 types of picks, where you're looking at those longer streams. But like you said, Marsh, they're going to be sort of feeling out picks right now. I think No Mod 1 is a very easy way of feeling out the aim consistency for either of these teams, even if, like with this No Mod 1, it is more so focused on general consistency. It's not quite, just jump spam graveyard type of mapping. It is almost like a mini tiebreaker is how Bubbleman described it in the earlier match today at 10 UTC. It does have quite a lot of elements of bursts and some longer streams in it, but none of them with the type of spacing that you see in No Mod 2. If you don't have absolute control over your tapping at 202 BPM, you are not going to be able to hold together the flow aim necessary to keep combo on No Mod 2.
Yeah, definitely. No Mod 2, of course, always more. You try and get a good balance of tapping and stamina as well as flow aim, but of course it is tricky to balance that, and yeah, like you said, you have to be on form with both to really really come out on top. And it is something that we did get to see No Mod 2 played by AR7 SlopDozer last week, although their scores were probably on the lower side. So it'll be interesting to see how they're performing on this week's No Mod 2.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested to see it. By the way, while we're talking about all the different picks and bans that are coming through right now, in chat you can predict the winners for yourself. These predictions, now that we are on to best of 3 sets, are predicting the winner of each set rather than the winner of the entire match. So we're just predicting the winner of this single best of 7 for right now. So go ahead and cast your predictions in chat. No, Hidden 3 coming through as a ban now for P model, actually banning out the low approach rate reading map in the hidden pool. I think it's a little interesting against AR7 SlopDozer to be banning out something like that. They do have some pretty good low approach rate reading players. I think specifically Grand Senpai, Shirahayuki, Wubblefulf, all going to be very good on that map. I'm wondering kind of who their fourth is that goes in for that map. Maybe Rufus, maybe Big maybe Jordan going in for a map like this is actually not that bad, considering how more so awkward aim focused this map is than it is, stack overlap hell reading type of map. But an interesting ban, I think, when you've got players like Arnold and FG Sky on the side of P model alongside Utami. Those 3 in particular would be very, very strong on this sort of map, I feel. So maybe pointing to a lack of comfort on this particular map, or suspicion that AR7 SlopDozer are going to be very strong on it. No Mod 6 now banned out, by the way, by SlopDozer. That map is like alien, just like completely foreign to the vast majority of players. I don't know if you've seen it in the editor, Demarsh, but it is just like disgustingly weird.
Yeah, I did have a chance to look at a bit of the No Mod 6, and just I can't I can't quite describe how I can't put into words quite how to describe that map, but yeah, it's very odd. And against a team like P Model, who are just known for their complex rhythm players, you talk about Arnold, Utami, Sourdough as well, because they played the No Mod 6 last week and they set a very, very good score on it overall for how difficult that map was. So it's if you can't play something as alien as that, get rid of it.
Yeah, I definitely agree there. And speaking of like really, really tricky maps, not quite as tricky as something like No Mod 6, but this Hard Rock 2, if you're looking for a test of flow aim and generally a more precision-focused test of your ult skills for each team, something like Hard Rock 2 definitely does it. Lots of cut streams and lots of cut double streams that are like 10 or 12 notes long as well. Lots of accelerating, decelerating streams that are, circular or very flowy in general, rather than some of the sort of linear focused patterning of a lot of the cut streams. Lots of square streams in that map as well, so really, really tough to transition between a lot of the different types of stream patterns that you see in Hard Rock 2. And I think with the fact that they have, like, the roster for that one is probably Skill, Breed, Cat, Intercambing, and Utami, that sort of roster on that map. Maybe Majora coming in for one of those players, but that sort of roster on Hard Rock 2 would just be so disgusting, I think, to look at. That is a really, really rough map if you don't have players who are very good at that particular type of mapping.
Yeah, and I really am curious this week on between these 2 teams. The Hard Rock and the Hidden battle is going to be very interesting. As you can see, sort of, it's leaning towards that. You can see P Model trying to ban, edge out hidden maps and focus more on the high approach rate stuff, whereas AR7 SlopDozers look like they're going to start their match leaning towards some of these hidden picks, slightly more reading focused approach here. It's interesting. DT2's not been touched at all yet, so maybe we won't be seeing that at all in this first set, which would be a bit of a surprise, because I think DT is one of those things between these 2 teams where it could be a bit of a toss-up at times.
One thing to note is that Utami and Sawada are both not going to be quite as warmed up. It is 10 a.m. for Sawada, and I believe Utami is in California, so it would be 7 a.m. for him playing this match. So he is probably not ready to do 237 BPM stream stamina at 7 a.m. So they might just be waiting until like the second or third set to pick up something like DT2, and instead going for some of the less stamina-focused picks that they think they're going to do very well on. And in a best of 7 like this, it does allow you that time to warm up, pick some of the different maps that you're really looking to not need a warm-up on to do very well. Hard Rock 2 and Nomad 2 to some extent definitely fit that bill. The streams in this Nomad 2 are not very long. They're only about 16 notes. Maybe there's a couple of 32-note streams here and there, but at 202 BPM for these players, it's really not going to pose a huge stamina challenge. Nomad 3 as well is also quite streamy. Lots of high spacing in this map. Very little really tough to follow sliders in this. A couple of reverse slider antics going on, but other than that, very focused on the cut streams, on the high spacing streams in this Nomad 3 pick.
Yeah, the Nomad 3 it's kind of surprised me, that one, because we didn't really see P Model play that map, but I'd assume that they'd have a very solid lineup. So, on the side of AR7, they must be super confident to go up against a Nomad 3 team like that. And we do see the final pick, actually. I will jump back to Nomad 3 in a second, but of course DT2 getting locked in, so we will see a DT map coming out from P Model in this first set.
Yeah, so they might not be saving it for the second set, but they will be saving it for their last pick, just in case they need something completely up their alley to close it out on. Double Time 2 as a last pick, I think, does a pretty good job of that. And yeah, I agree. It's a little odd to see the Nomad 3 pick come out, especially after the Hard Rock 2 pickup for P Model. But AR7 SlopDozer are clearly confident on the pick to be putting it up here in the first set. Same deal as with Nomad 1. We're going to get into the aim consistency map as the first pick for AR7 SlopDozer. We talked a little bit about it at the start, but less so just on the aim consistency and more sort of a solid mix of both that generic Nomad 1 aim consistency that everybody knows and loves from PP Farm maps, as well as quite a lot of relatively long streams at 200 BPM, at least in the context of an aim map. Lots of 16-note 200 BPM streams to deal with, so more of an ACK killer than anything else. You don't need a lot of flow aim to deal with those streams, luckily. So if you can hit the jumps, you'll be able to keep the combo together. The accuracy is a different question, but these aim players on the side of AR7 SlopDozer are likely Jordan, Lifeline, probably Rafis, and probably... I'll say, yeah, okay. Actually, Monk the Dawn coming in for this one instead of Rafis. Shiraha Yuki as well going in for them up against FG Sky, Skill, Intercambing, and Reedcat.
Yeah, interesting for Monk the Dawn. We really didn't get a chance to see him last weekend. He played very few of the maps, although we didn't really see maps that he would necessarily come in for. Some of the more aim-focused maps, which is where I think some of his skill sets lie. But he is a speed player as well. Never take that away from Monk. But here we go. First map coming up. Nomad 1.
And we are missing the accuracy and score for each of these players, as well as the combo on each player. Once again, we'll get that sorted shortly. But for now, it looks like there's been no combo breaks here at the start. There we go. We're slowly getting them together. All right, yeah, no combo breaks here at the start. Ever so slight accuracy lead for P Model out of the gate. But actually very high accuracy on 3 out of 4 players for AR7 SlopDozer. It's really only Monk the Dawn having any trouble with the ACK overall. Still SS for Shiraha Yuki on Lifeline.
Yeah, so far solid start, which is, obviously what you want. But there's an early break coming in for Jordan the Bear, but it's going to be traded by Reedcat early on. Surprising breaks from both of those players.
Yeah, definitely a surprising break. I think Jordan is probably the player you expect to be most consistent on something like this. Similarly to skill on the side of P Model, usually the player who always goes in on this type of map because they are just that consistent on this style of mapping. Intercamping as well now, dropping the combo for the side of P Model, so it's actually also FG Sky. So 3 full combos down for the side of P Model with Reedcat's earlier drop, and 3 full combos still up for AR7 SlopDozer, only Jordan having dropped the combo on that side, but Monk, Shiraha, Yuki, and Lifeline all still holding on to their FCs, and with Jordan matching Reedcat's combo, this is just a straight up 2 FC advantage.
Yeah, it's, compared to last week, a massive change. Of course, P-Model on No Mod 1 last week ended up pulling a 3.6 million team score, and we do see another break there from Jordan, but it's not disastrous for AR7, because they're still holding those 3 full combos. P-Model only holding in the 1, but there goes Monk Nadon on AR7, but it's still slightly combo favored towards SlopDozer, but they need to recover these 2 breaks that they've had.
I would even hesitate to say it's favored toward them at this point. But yeah, they have the 2 full combos, but these supporting scores from P-Model, Reedcat, Intercamping, and FG Sky all holding the combos right now. It really puts a lot of pressure on Shiraha, Yuki, and Lifeline to keep these FCs together. And they're going to know now at this break, right? They're going to see that they are the only reason their team is in the lead at this point, and they need to hold on to those FCs. The same can be said for skill, but the pressure's got to be on Shiraha, Yuki, and Lifeline right now. And that type of pressure on an aim consistency map like this can really cause some drops, and there goes Shiraha Yuki's combo.
We did also see a break from FG Sky as well, so they're pulling back. The supporting combo has slowed slightly, and we see skill go as well. That's a big drop for P-Model. I don't think they're going to take this now.
I don't think so either. It's going to be close, but with Lifeline holding on here until the end. Does drop the SS, but doesn't drop the FC here. And that's enough to bring it home. The full combo on the side of AR7 SlopDozer coming in clutch for their team. And you can see actually quite a similar scoreline overall. The difference maker really is a Lifeline and Shiraha Yuki with slightly higher scores than Reedcat and skill over on the side of AR7 SlopDozer. 2 100s, by the way. Really, really strong accuracy on the FC. Almost a full 1 million score on Nomad is very, very high score line. That's score to beat right now, is a 2 100 full combo.
Yeah, that's such a great first win for AR7 SlopDozer, especially, like I mentioned earlier, the 3.6 million team score coming across from P-Model last week. You know, the mental game that probably plays in the back of your mind of, you know, it's going to be a really tough match, and P-Model just, they kind of exploded during that No Mod 1. Not quite sure what happened. I'm guessing maybe that the fact they're playing early in the morning and maybe their mechanics aren't as strong could have played into that, perhaps. It's hard to say because it's only the first map.
I think it's just a question of, you know, AR7 SlopDozer just being slightly more comfortable on that skill set. The players who did find, you know, the misses on the side of P-Model really not playing, I don't think, that early in the morning at this point. I know Intercamping, I think, is on UTC -3 time right now, or UTC -4 time, so 10 or 11 a.m., not that bad for him. And of course, Reedcat and FG Sky well into the afternoon at this point. So they should be relatively okay. I think it's just AR7 SlopDozer really being comfortable on that kind of map. Obviously, from Lifeline score, he's very comfortable. Shiraha Yuki as well, with the 99% accuracy, luckily pulling in another high score for their team. No Mod 2, though, should be where P-Model sees their comfort go up. This is, of course, the stream map in No Mod 202 BPM, mostly flowing.
Yeah, like you said, should be a very solid map for them. We did see AR7 SlopDozer play this last week, but again, they did show overall team-wise that they had a bit of struggle keeping the combos high. So it'll be interesting to see if they've managed to iron out that little problem this week. Let's find out.
Got a little bit of an interesting roster, I think, for P Model on this. FG Sky intercamping Sawada and Reedcat. Notably, no Utami on this map. Rafis has yet to show in the lobby as well for the side of AR7 SlopDozer. Excuse me. No Arnold for P Model as well on the stream pick. Starting off relatively well, FG Sky and Reedcat still holding on to full combo, compared to no FCs now for AR7 SlopDozer, as Jordan and Shirahayuki both drop their FCs. Lifeline and Monk the Dawn, however, hold on to the supporting combos, so it is still relatively close, especially with those accuracy drops coming through on some of the longer streams for the side of P Model.
Yeah, not seeing skill in the P Model lineup is actually quite a surprise. We do, though, see Monk the Dawn drop his combo. There goes Sawada as well, though. So, but Lifeline drops that big combo he was building up to support. Now there's nothing really to stop FG Sky, who's still holding the full combo, I believe.
Yeah, FG Sky, oddly enough, still holding the full combo here on the stream map. And actually, this is as we called it out. So now Jordan and Shirahayuki up against just Sawada, really, for P Model. The score is relatively close. It's 200k away right now. But there goes Jordan's combo. It's only Shirahayuki at this point for AR7 SlopDozer, and that's just not going to be enough to pull this back over for a breakpoint. This should go the way of P Model, especially with all of those drops happening, favoring P Model. Everybody besides FG Sky, Reedcat, and Lifeline dropping their combos, so 2 combos held for the side of P Model.
Yeah, Reedcat, Lifeline, just going to be trading this off towards the end here. No real score gain on either side. So maintaining that 300,000 score lead there does give P Model the first win, which was, kind of expected for them to pick this up. But overall, you can just see the accuracy there did play a huge advantage. But the combos overall were quite close between these two teams.
Yeah, that is actually a fairly close map. It's within 300k of each other, so relatively close overall. Those are pretty similar team scores, so I think that AR7 SlopDozer can be a little bit more confident going into some of the stream maps later on in this match. I particularly want to see how Hard Rock 2 and Nomad 3 go. There are some very good Hard Rock players on the side of AR7 SlopDozer, despite the name of the team, right? If Jordan is on point with this type of map right now, they could potentially get a very, very high team score going. This is a relatively tricky map to keep combo on, so if you have one player who's just very good at it, you can let them solo carry and still come out on top. It's what happened the second set between Godfield Gaming and Kirby earlier today. We saw Hello Tom come in and carry Nomad 4, and then I believe it was MCY4 carry Hard Rock 2 for them later on. So this is that type of map where if you've got one player who's going to be very good on this sort of thing, they can absolutely carry you. And of course, Jordan the Bear, Lifeline should be very comfortable, at least on this approach rate. I would like to see Shirahayuki in for this, and then maybe looking to somebody like Wolf, or if Rafis is here, him for their fourth player. Monk as well could be in for this one. And then on the side of P Model, obviously, it's going to be skill in for this. Intercamping Reedcat, FG Sky seems like a good way to round out that lineup. Reedcat and intercamping, of course, very, very strong on the Hard Rock, and FG Sky has been in, I think, on every map at this point. He is looking like a rock for the team at this point.
Yeah, and again, it's interesting. We mentioned that Rafis had not made an appearance in the lobby. And it looks like maybe that he's just not around at the moment, as we have Wolf pretty much subbing in for him on this map.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised to not see Jordan in as a seasoned Hard Rock player for this map. Maybe just not his preferred skill set, probably more important to him than just the approach rate in the mod. That's how it tends to be for this level of player. Monk with an early break alongside FG Sky and intercambing. That accelerating stream at the end of the intro is really, really tricky, as well as these cut streams here into some of the more accelerating and decelerating streams. I mean, this whole map looks exactly like that. It is just so tricky all the way through. And we've already got multiple combo breaks from multiple players. Lifeline does drop the second full combo left up for AR7 SlopDozer. It's only Shiraha Yuki now holding on to the FC, with Reedcat and Skill answering on the other side for P-Model, and FG Sky on a good combo as well.
Yeah, it's that duo of Skill and Reedcat again. But there goes Reedcat actually dropping, and he doesn't have spectacular accuracy at this point, which is a surprise on some of these spacing changes on the Hard Rock as well. Skill putting in one hell of a performance on this map though.
Yeah, you want to talk about accuracy, 98.77% on this. The next highest AC in the lobby is 96 from Reedcat on the same team, and then intercambing with 95. And finally, Shiraha Yuki, by the way, dropping the last full combo left up for AR7 SlopDozer. That's going to let Skill just sort of run away with this score now, even in spite of Lifeline and Wolf putting up big combos here in the second half of the map. 500 combo for Lifeline. It was around a 400 combo for Wolf before he dropped it just now. And I think this is just over at this point. It's already 400,000 score plus in the favor of P-Model. That is going to be 2-1 for them after this map.
Yeah, and this play from Skill is just unbelievable. He has dropped the full combo, but that accuracy is disgustingly good on this map. Take a bow, Skill. That is one hell of a play for you and your team.
Yeah, that is a very strong score. This type of, really, really variable spacing alt map like this is very tricky to keep combo on for that long. And when you're that focused on controlling your aim correctly, keeping the accuracy together is even more difficult. So almost the 99% there for Skill is a, like you said, incredible play on that map. I don't know if we had any higher scores in the previous match on this map. I know we got close to a full combo in Godfield Gaming versus Kirby, since that map was played twice, but that is ridiculous regardless.
Yeah, P-Model both strong wins on their first two maps in this first set. Really sort of setting a high bar for AR7 SlopDozer to go into their double picks here. They did pick up a comfortable No Mod 1 win, but this Hidden 2 is a very, very different map.
Yeah, this is now a much, I wouldn't say much trickier, but a very different sort of challenge compared to something like Hard Rock 2. Both of these are flow aim maps, both of them are sort of finger control maps, but this one has a much heavier focus on stamina and a much heavier focus on density and reading than something like Hard Rock 2. At 200 BPM and at AR 9.6, this map is a lot denser than the 140 BPM AR10 alt map that we just saw. So being able to follow the streams correctly with Hidden at that tempo and at this density is the main challenge of this map, in addition to some of the finger control and stamina required to be able to hit a lot of these patterns. It's also quite short, less than 2 minutes long.
Yeah, shorter map this one. Not really sure if that's going to necessarily play to any team's advantage. But it should be a lot more interesting. We start to see the lineups now. Lifeline, Jordan the Bear, Shiraha Yuki, and Monk the Don coming in for AR7 SlopDozers on this one. Interesting to see Jordan come in for the Hidden and not the Hard Rock. On this one, we didn't see SlopDozer play Hidden at all last weekend, so it'll be interesting to see how their skill has changed between this week and last week.
You already see at least ReedCat struggling a little bit with the transition into this one. It is the same exact lineup, by the way, for P Model. So all 4 members going straight from Hard Rock 2 into Hidden 2 here. And very clearly some difficulty adjusting for some of their players, FG Sky and ReedCat, with a couple early breaks. Lifeline, Jordan the Bear, Shiraha Yuki, and Monk Don coming in for this one. So I believe just Jordan subbing in for AR7 SlopDozer. But working out well at this point. Still 4 full combos left up for the second team on the screen right now. And as we get into the stamina section here, it's only Lifeline who has dropped, and Intercambing trades that full combo away. So AR7 SlopDozer with a very similar sort of combo lead. Jordan does drop that FC now, though, so it's only 2 full combos for Shiraha Yuki and Monk the Dawn. ReedCat, luckily for them, drops that supporting combo, and now it's actually combo advantage back over to P Model. Skill and FG Sky holding on to a full combo and high supporting combo, respectively, against only Shiraha Yuki's full combo for AR7 SlopDozer. So as we now get into a more flow aim and control focused part of the map, the challenge changes yet again, and we get the score lead starting to move into the favor of P Model.
Yeah, they are pulling back that score very slowly and surely, and again, a very short map. If SlopDozers lose it here, they're not going to really get much of a chance to recover it. So all eyes on FG Sky and Skill. Do they hold? Do they not? Shiraha Yuki drops, though, and lets it jump over immediately to P Model.
FG Sky and Skill both break at the same time. Jordan is the only one holding, though, at the end for AR7 SlopDozer. And it's just barely not enough for AR7. They lose it to P Model, basically off the back of a duo carry from Skill and FG Sky.
Yeah, if Shiraha Yuki had managed to hold and, you know, somehow pull a full combo out on this map, they might have just been able to hold on to it, because assuming that FG Sky and Skill still would have broken, but that really could have gone their way, but it just slipped through their fingers right towards the end. Very, very good play from Skill and FG Sky there.
That's an unlucky loss for AR7 SlopDozer there. Just not quite consistent enough, and not quite enough of the carry to come through from Shiraha Yuki, despite the effort put forth. So P Model able to take a break point, and now up 3-1 here, with DT2 still left in their back pocket. It's Nomad 3, the next pick to come out of AR7 SlopDozer, and this one is going to be a little similar to what we saw in Hidden 2 just now. A little heavier emphasis on following sliders, a little more of a spacing challenge in this map, kind of like an in-between for Hard Rock 2 and Hidden 2, but with quite a lot of difficulty added from these sliders compared to those previous 2 maps that have been played. So I expect mostly similar rosters again, probably Shiraha Yuki staying in for AR7 SlopDozer, given how well they've been playing so far. For P Model side, I think basically the same roster is going to be staying in once again for them.
Yeah, exactly the same roster. No changes here whatsoever. I don't think there's any changes on the side of SlopDozer either. Looks a bit, no, looks like they're going to be sticking with that full lineup of Lifeline, Jordan the Bear, Shiraha Yuki, and Monk the Dawn.
And so we're going to get into the tech map here in Nomad. As I said a little bit earlier, kind of focused on the high spacing streams in this map. Not too much added from the sliders objectively speaking, but very different from Hard Rock 2 Hidden 2 in terms of how much the sliders add to this map. Still quite a lot more than those previous 2 picks we saw. Skill the first to drop on the side of P Model, and Monk the Dawn the first to drop on AR7 SlopDozer. He trades his with intercambing, so overall favorable trade so far for AR7 SlopDozer. But skills combo is still quite large in comparison to a full combo. He's only about 200 and 170 combo behind an FC. FG Sky and Shirahayuki trade their FCs, actually, so it's Lifeline and Jordan the Bear up against a Reed Cat and the supporting combo from Skill, who now actually has a relatively high combo in comparison to most of the rest of the lobby. Intercambing does drop once again, so this is favoring AR7 SlopDozer here, but just barely at the moment.
Yeah, again, they're relying just on the sort of 2 full combos, but P-Model, they need to get their team needs to get their combos together. Intercamming still struggling. Jordan the Bear does drop their big full combo loss for SlopDozer. But we do see Skill and FG Sky and Intercamming once again finding resets. It's just Recat holding a full combo for the side of P-Model, which is going to be negated by Lifeline's full combo as well.
And Reed Cat and Lifeline, if you told me at the start of this year that these two players would be the ones carrying their teams on a tech map in Corsace quarterfinals, on a team with players like Intercambing or Utami or FG Sky, right? Like, I would not have believed you, but these two players have shown a lot of improvement at so many different types of maps this year. Same for Lifeline. If you told me that they would be carrying, if he would be carrying tech maps on the same team as Shirahayuki in 2021, I would not have believed you, but these are some fantastic scores from those two players. Ultimately, the better supporting scores on the side of AR7 SlopDozer let them come out on top and bring it up to 3-2, but now they've got a bit of a hill to climb here. Double time too, the last pick for P-Model, saved for last for a reason, I think, hoping that their players are going to be mostly warmed up at this point, but with a lot of their roster missing, I'm wondering how this one's going to go for them. We've not seen Arnold come in yet. We've not seen Utami, who is probably still asleep. And we've not seen Majora come in either. So, 3 players who would probably normally play this for P-Model, we just haven't seen in this matchup yet. So, it's definitely Sawada going in. But I think they probably have to have, like, FG Sky, Reed Cat, and either Skill or Intercambing go in for this one. I'm wondering how that changes what we thought about this pick at the start of the matchup.
Yeah, on paper, you know, P-Model very strong, but again, AR7 SlopDozers, they are missing a couple of players of their own that doesn't necessarily, you know, we haven't seen Rafis at all, which does put a bit of a dent into their lineup as well. Ukti as well, we've not really seen him this match as far as I know, so, you know, on both sides, it's kind of rough as to what, and again, yeah, we don't see any of those other players coming in for SlopDozers. They're sticking with that same lineup. I think both of these teams are just not at their full strength at the moment, so it's hard to tell who's going to have an advantage on this.
Yeah, this is really interesting. Like you said, at the same time, we're missing members for AR SlopDozer. Notably, Rafis is not in for this, and he has been their carry on the raw speed picks before this weekend. So both teams are significantly missing members for this map, and I am just not sure how it's going to shake out because of that. Normally, I would definitely favor P-Model. They're on paper the far stronger speed team, but with these rosters, you can see the discomfort, right? Monk the Dawn really the only one holding strong for AR7 SlopDozer at this point. FG Sky actually the one holding on to combo for P-Model, as Sawada has dropped earlier on. Intercambing as well, holding on to some combo for their side. Lifeline holding on to some for AR7 SlopDozer. It's 47k in the favor of P-Model right now, about halfway through the map.
Skill is not happy to be playing this map. You can tell just at the 80% accuracy, it's just not his type of map, but his team is winning. FG Sky, I've learned, if there's one thing I've learned about FG Sky, never count him out of a map, regardless of what it is. This guy is pulling in an insane combo right now.
He's close to an FC, actually, about 30 combo behind Monk's FC at the moment. And it's really Sawada and Intercamping now making the difference alongside that full combo, of course, because if they weren't there to back him up, just the FC from Monk would be doing more work than FG Sky's high combo. But those supporting scores really do make all the difference for P Model, and they're what let them close it out 4-2 rather than being taken to tiebreaker. So set 1 going the way of P Model, a 1-0 start for the higher seeded team, our first seed out of the qualifying round. And that is going to bring us to set number 2. Once again, don't go anywhere. We still have another set between these two teams to play. You can see those set win scores at the top of your screen on the team logos. It is a best of 3 sets. Each of these sets is a best of 7. The first team to win 2 sets wins the entire match. So we are going to reset. We're going to get a different pick ban order decided between these two teams. We talked at the start of the match about the map draft format, but just to reiterate, again, there are a best of 3 sets going on, with each set being a best of 7. In sets 2 and 3, each team gets to pick one of their bans to be permanently locked in for the rest of the match. Those are called match bans. Those are those 2 extra red boxes you see to the left. So in set 2, in our middle row here, each team is going to select one of their bans from the previous set to permanently lock in for the rest of the match. And then we're going to get, again, a second completely new pick ban order after we do the match bans for each of these teams. We do also have a new prediction going on. The last prediction was just for that particular set, only for set number 1. So I'll go ahead and lock in predictions for set number 2 here. I'm going to be a little interested to see the match bans for each of these teams. I think with how relatively one-sided Double Time 2 was, even with the missing members for P Model, AR7 SlopDozer probably locks in No Mod 5 as their match ban. I don't see why they would lock in anything else for that match ban, or at least keep it banned out. But they probably want to get rid of Double Time 2 as a pick. I think that's the one map that really they're going to have trouble contesting, even in the second and third sets.
Yeah, I think unless... See, this is the thing, is that because this match is going to go on into a potentially best of 3 sets, it could be that suddenly these players, they become available, and that changes the whole dynamic. So if you put the match ban in, it's locked behind forever, and it's hard to say who's going to show up on these maps. But yeah, I still believe that No Mod 5 is AR7 SlopDozer's match ban, without a doubt. But what about P Model?
Yeah, P Model, by the way, P Model, I'm really not sure what their match ban is going to be. Talked a little about we talked a little about some of the focus, less so on the aim and more so on speed for P Model. I think Hidden One is an okay match ban because of that, but I really am not sure, given that I think all of the maps from last set were contestable for P Model. And for anyone just coming off of an ad break, we are talking about the potential match bans for both of these teams. Likely a No Mod 5 match ban for AR7 SlopDozer, given how one-sided the speed map in Double Time 2 was at the end of the last set. And maybe looking at a Hidden One match ban for P Model, given how No Mod 1 went in the favor of AR7 SlopDozer at the start of the last set, as well as how close Hidden 2 was. I think that Hidden 1 can be an okay match ban for P Model.
Yeah, it was kind of surprising on that Nomad one. The players that you expected to do really well on P model just either weren't warm or just couldn't perform on the map. So maybe there is that mental that we have to perform at a certain level to match AR7 SlopDozers on that map, and maybe it's just better to get rid of it. But there is still quite a bit of this pool that we've yet to see. So it's hard to say. Maybe they're not feeling as good on some of the other maps in the pool. We've not seen the Nomad 4 enter the fray yet, which is quite an interesting map, I think, between these two teams. Especially with some of the spacing changes on that map. It'd be an interesting one to see them compete on, I think.
I agree personally for kind of similar reasons. I want to see something like Hard Rock 2 again, just because all of those types of maps were very, very close. Hard Rock 2 and Hidden 2 were both very close between the two teams. Same for Nomad 3, and like you said, I think Nomad 4 would probably be a very, very close map between them as well. So that's almost the reason I expect these teams to maybe shy away from those picks here in the second set, where hey, some of these picks were very, very close. Let's try and stay away from those so we don't get break-pointed, and instead go for some of the picks that were more one-sided, or at least similar maps to some of the picks that were more one-sided. I would hope that AR7 SlopDozer picks into Nomad 1, Hard Rock 1, picks into some of the more aim-focused maps, even including Double Time 1, if they do get joined by some of their other players, they would have a really, really strong roster for that map. And on the side of P model, obviously Nomad 5, but is probably banned out, and Double Time 2 probably banned out. You're looking at Nomad 2, you're looking at Double Time 3, you're looking at any of the other more stream stamina focused maps or speed focused maps in the pool, but that's really where they tend to end off. Almost Hidden 2 has to take the place then of another stream map, and that was very, very close. Same thing with Nomad 2.
Yeah, we do see that. I don't know if you mentioned this, the obvious Nomad 5 match ban locked in by AR7 SlopDozers coming in, and Hidden 3 from P model. Okay. Interesting.
So that almost tells me that they just don't expect Arnold and Utami to show up, because I don't think you ban that out if you have Arnold or Utami here for this match, right? Like they do not expect to have those two players with them, because they are absolutely the two players that you put in alongside like FG Sky and probably Intercambing, maybe. Yeah, just Intercambing. I don't know who else would actually play that map for P model. So very obviously not wanting to play Hidden 3, and I think showing that they don't have Utami or Arnold even close to coming to this match right here. Hidden 1 also banned out, again, just kind of confirms that fact. They do not have a strong Hidden roster at this moment, despite having one of the best Hidden rosters on paper in the tournament, just because of those two players alone. I mean, usually you face either of those players in a 1-versus-1 on a Hidden map, and they just win every time, and you permaban it against them. So them not being here really is a heavy blow to P model's ability to play the Hidden mod. And I kind of expect Hidden 2 to get picked up early here for AR7 SlopDozer because of that. Nomad 6 banned out by them speaks to, again, not wanting to deal with some of the tapping focus maps, but I'm really surprised that it wasn't Double Time 2.
Yeah, I am as well, actually, because that really didn't go their way. There is quite a bit of time between potentially the first match. You'd assume P model was going to try and pick that up then, and try and lock it in as their first pick. But yeah, I think the only relation I can make to sort of between these two teams is that with the match ban of Hidden 3 coming out from P model and the Nomad 6 coming out from SlopDozers, that they really just do not want to play any of the more dense stacked maps in this pool. Both teams not feeling comfortable on any of those skill sets at all.
Yeah, it's a sort of interesting conundrum now because you've got a limited roster that on the side of P model you're actually missing 2 of what I would consider the core 4 for that team. So you're playing off of 2 of your core 4 and 3, I think, of your other players in general, and you're missing 2 of your core 4 who are actually good on speed and good on hidden at the same time. So not having those 2 players really does limit your ability to pick whatever you want, as you usually would be able to for the top seeded team in the tournament. Not having Majora as well means that these speed maps are less so favored to them, but still AR7 SlopDozer missing Rafis means that they just don't have the player who usually hard carries them on speed, so it's still favored toward P model. Nomad 1 as the ban for AR7 SlopDozer, I think, tells us that they're just going to lean into aim mechanics. This is an interesting choice, I think, with Hidden 1 and Hidden 3 banned out by P model. I kind of expected Hidden 2 to be the pickup. Hard Rock 2 does make sense for P model, though. It's a map that they have already played, that they've already won on, and that the core roster that they have is actually here, right? Like, they're not missing out on anything by not having Utami or Arnold for Hard Rock 2. I don't think either of those players play that map, except maybe Utami, because he just plays whatever he is comfortable on at this point.
They can make that map work, though, regardless of the missing Utami. But yeah, Nomad 2 coming in from SlopDozers isn't a surprise. Although that map was closer, I think maybe they're thinking that was probably one of the better scores that they could get on that map, and that they're not really going to be able to improve on that. Whereas I think P model, they kind of slipped on that map and let that one get a bit closer than they would have liked. So seems like a solid ban coming out from SlopDozers.
I'd be interested to see this last ban from P model. I'm kind of expecting it to be Hidden 2, just because of multiple hidden bans already being given out by this team. But based on the previous match, Nomad 1 and Nomad 3 actually are the maps that were won out by AR7 SlopDozer. So maybe they just ban out Nomad 3 and say, hey, let's ban out the 2 map, or one of the 2 maps that you won on last time around. Their timer's up, so they're gonna have to give the ban here. They might just lose it if they don't give it, so we might just be moving on to the next pick for AR7 SlopDozer. We'll see if there's any leniency given, but at this point, this far past the timer, I don't see why there would be. We're probably just moving on to the next pick.
Yeah, no ban seems to be coming in. Every second that passes, they're more and more likely to lose it.
Yeah, I think this is just a lost ban at this point for P model, so I'm not sure exactly what's going on here. It seems that Wolf is feeling unwell for their side, so we might be getting a slight delay in that case, with both players missing quite a lot of members already. Each individual member is really important.
I've seen Hidden 2 pop up, though, but I don't really know if that's confirmed or not. I'm guessing.
Okay. It looks like the referee started the timer later than what we had on the stream. So Hidden 2 is probably given within the timer in the lobby, and just not within the timer that we had on stream. So it is going to be Hidden 2 banned out by P model, and it kind of makes sense. They've banned out the entire Hidden pool, right? They just don't want to play Hidden at this point. And then now we've still got Nomad 3 up, actually, for AR7 SlopDozer. They've got both of the maps that they won previously, still available to them. I would be surprised to not see Nomad 3 get picked up at some point. Hard Rock 1, though, does make a lot of sense, this roster, for AR7 SlopDozer. Of course, winning on Nomad 1, you expect to win Hard Rock 1 as well. And they'll probably follow it up, in my opinion, with a Nomad 3 pick, but they might go for something like DT1 as well, just lean entirely into the raw aim consistency.
Yeah, I think what's most interesting about SlopDozer's picks, yeah, they see it. DT2, I'm really surprised that wasn't put in at all. Instead, they got rid of Nomad 6 as their ban, so it's unlikely that they're going to be able to pick up that map. So I'll be curious to see what P Model are going to introduce next as their next map here.
Yeah, just for context, DT2 was won by almost 500k the last time around by P Model. Was FG Sky, Intercamping, and Sawada all putting up very, very strong scores on that map. And really only Monk and Lifeline putting up comparable scores on the side of AR7 SlopDozer. So very much a one-sided affair on that one. Kind of similarly to what happened on Hard Rock 2. It was mostly skill, however, putting up the one-sided carry performance, and ReedCat as well putting up a very, very strong supporting score, outdoing even the top score on the side of AR7 SlopDozer. So those two maps making it through the ban phase in favor of banning Nomad 6 from SlopDozer, I think is really interesting. It shows that they are absolutely not confident on Nomad 6, even less so than these maps which they lost by considerable margins in the previous set. And now Double Time 3 getting picked up by P Model, I think they're finally saying, yeah, let's just lean into the speed. We might not have Utami Arnold, but that doesn't really matter. We're still better than them on speed anyway, because they don't have some of their players who would usually be on speed. So we can still abuse this skill set and lean harder into it than we previously thought with our missing members.
Yeah, and as long as those conditions stay, it should be very strong for them, but again, it could happen. You could see some surprise show-ups, especially because those maps are later on. There is a chance maybe that they're thinking that more players from either team perhaps could show up to play those maps. It's really quite hard to say at this point, but I'm curious on SlopDozer's last pick. I'm wondering whether they're going to dip into free mod at all.
Yeah, and like you said, free mod is also an option for AR7 SlopDozer, just because of how heavily P Model has avoided the hidden mod right now. But no, they're gonna go with Nomad 3. They're gonna go with something that they know they can come out on top with to save it for last. This is a map that they already won in the previous set. They won this pick by about 200,000 scores, so it was still a relatively close scoreline. It was 2 carry performances from Lifeline and ReedCat, and very similar scores for the rest of the members, just ever so slightly in the favor of AR7 SlopDozer on all 3 supporting scores. So these lineups are going to be locked in. These picks and bans are now locked in for our second set. We're going to be getting started with our second set of this first winner's bracket match of the weekend. Once again, go ahead and cast your predictions if you so choose in the chat. We're predicting which team is going to be coming out on top for this set. We did already mention that earlier. I'm excited for this one. It's looking like these are going to be very, very close maps on this set. I think these picks are relatively well given for both teams. I don't expect any breakpoints to come through, and at that point, we're kind of expecting a tiebreaker, right? I mean, I don't really see, unless we have a huge upset happen, how we get a breakpoint. These picks are very, very well given for both teams.
Yeah, they're both very solid. The maps they've sort of saved into these second sets, So the 2 major differences that we're seeing are the Hard Rock 1 and the DT3 that they're bringing in. Those are the 2 maps that for AR7 SlopDozers and P Model respectively. They're bringing in to try and add to their scores. You know, so you'd expect with the rest of these maps that they're going to follow that similar trend. We're starting off with this Hard Rock 2 here, which of course was won by P Model last time. They're hoping to maintain this pick. And it's the same lineups as far as I'm aware.
We do have Arnold in, actually, for P Model. A new player showing his face in the quarterfinals. We finally get one of those 3 members in for P Model who was missing earlier. Other than that, we do have Skill, Intercambing, and Reedcat. I believe FG Sky was in on this. No, yeah, FG Sky was in on this last time around. He did have the lowest score for his team, so it makes sense that he is the one coming out in favor of Arnold this time around. Did you see Intercambing with an early drop on the side of P Model? Everybody else still holding on to the combos right now. His accelerating, decelerating streams really getting the better of Intercambing as we move now into one of the slower sections. Monk actually dropping on some of the cut streams. The Wiggles getting the better of Skill there. And now it's 3 full combos to 2 in the favor of AR7 SlopDozer. Wubble Wolf dropping his combo next. And it's now the accuracy playing a big role in this score lead as it's 2 full combos to 2, but even so, a 30,000 closing in on 50,000 score lead for P Model.
Big drop there coming in from Lifeline, and yeah, Skill, the one who he still has his very high accuracy that we saw last time, but isn't carrying the combo for his team this time. You know, that's falling on Reedcat and Arnold, going up against Shiraya Yuki, who did pull in a full combo last time. So let's see if they can continue that streak, but it's not looking good for SlopDozer here. They're not recovering combo enough to support Shiraya Yuki here.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Shirahayuki, it is Reedcat and Arnold now full comboing for P Model. Even where Skill can't come in quite as clutch as he did the first time around, there are still members to back up the confidence on this pick. Definitely a high team score this time around for P Model. Once again, actually even a higher score than last time, which you expect, but man, 2 full combos on this is huge, actually, for P Model. Even with AR7 SlopDozer putting up 200,000 to 300,000 score more than what they were able to pull up in set 1, it is still P Model coming out on top.
Yeah, now perhaps we've got a change dynamic now with the arrival of Arnold, because that was a much more confident win on that Hard Rock 2, but it means some of these other maps that SlopDozer's picked up in the first set possibly don't look as confident now, especially going into this Nomad 1.
And I saw a couple people in chat talking about how long the pick ban stage was taking. Well, I think we kind of know why now. They were stalling a little bit for Arnold to come in, making sure that they had as good of a roster as possible for this first map, and that they had as much warm-up on Arnold as possible as well, making sure that, you know, he can put up as high of a score as he can, and it's definitely worth it. They come out on top largely thanks to that second full combo from Arnold. And now on Nomad 1, I'm not sure exactly how practiced Arnold is on this map, but the scores from P Model last time around were not incredible. You had 500k and 650k from FG Sky and Intercambing respectively. Arnold can potentially go in for one of those players and raise that team score enough to make the difference in this second set. So it definitely does change the dynamic of how this match is going to go. But with him showing his face after picks and bans are over, and all the picks and bans being locked in already, there's not anything that AR7 SlopDozer can do about it. They just have to play through it.
Yeah, forced into a situation, and perhaps a bit of a mind game coming in from P Model. Oh, well, I'd say definitely a mind game coming in from P Model, but one that I think has potentially gonna have massive consequences. And we see Arnold come in for this Nomad 1. Yeah, no idea how warm he is, but if it's anything like that Hard Rock 2, SlopDozers have got some work to do.
I mean, after that performance on Hard Rock 2, I don't think it matters how warm he is. He's ready, man. He came in full combo the first map he played. He knows what he's here for. Intercamping does find an early miss on the side of P Model, but it's matched by an early miss from Monk the Dawn. However, Reedcat dropping down is unmatched on the side of AR7 SlopDozer, so it is a slight combo lead for AR7. Lifeline finds a slider break as I say that, and it's now a basically even combo, ever so slight combo lead, I think, for P Model right now. But at the very beginning of Nomad 1, there's so much that can change in this map.
Yeah, the early breaks really don't matter massively as they do if you drop in this first quarter. Looks like everyone is recovering well, but we do see that score gap very slowly increasing in favor of P Model here. But there's a break from Arnold. Big drop.
Yeah, that is a big drop. Now combo lead once again over to AR7 SlopDozer, and with the score lead so small, there's definitely enough time for this to come over. Intercamping as well, dropping a supporting score, and now it's 2 full combos to 1 in the favor of AR7 SlopDozer. And with Monk the Dawn matching and actually going over Reedcat's combo, Lifeline on a big supporting combo as well, this score lead should start to take off as the combos climb above 1,000 for AR7 SlopDozer. We've still got a while to go until we get there, but if all things hold equal, it will start to go up very quickly. But no, it's not going to be held equal. Lifeline and Jordan both missing, dropping those high combos. So Monk the Dawn and Shiraha Yuki matching the combos from Reedcat and Skill respectively, but supporting score lead now for P Model, with Intercamping and Arnold having higher combo than Lifeline and Jordan the Bear into the second PI.
Yeah, they're gonna start. They're already pulling this back, and they're gonna take the lead very soon if no breaks happen on the side. And it's Monk the Dawn that goes instead. That's a huge break for SlopDozers. P Model gonna do some damage with that. All of them hold through that second KI. This is looking very dangerous for SlopDozer.
And we talked about Arnold potentially making the difference here in this map for P Model. Well, it's not even him who's making the difference. It's Skill and Reedcat, both well over 1,000 combo at this point, and only Shiraha Yuki able to match the full combo from Skill. 600k on both him and Reedcat, and just no high combo compared to Intercamping and Arnold. Arnold finally dropping, matching the drop from Monk, but these supporting combos from Lifeline and Jordan just are not enough when there's a second 1200 combo on Reedcat and 750 on Intercamping. The score lead reflecting that 300k in the favor of P Model.
Yeah, and it came in at just such a devastating time for SlopDozers, you know. But I think as well, you know, Reedcat did perform, you know, he struggled quite a bit on the Nomad 1 the first time in terms of keeping his combo. I think he broke right towards the middle of the map, and he has righted that wrong with this map here. Very, very, very good performance from Reedcat there.
Yeah, actually ending up with a higher score than Skill by the end of the map. 5 100s for Reedcat. Of course, the highest score in the lobby still goes to Shiraha Yuki. 4 100s on the full combo. Not quite as good as the 2 100 full combo that they put up last time around, but unfortunately no other high combo to support that FC from Shiraha Yuki, with everybody else on the side of AR SlopDozer in between 500 and 600k. So it's just not quite enough, and that is our first breakpoint on Nomad 1 here. And if you are AR7 SlopDozer, your confidence is starting to waver a little bit. You went with Nomad 1 Hard Rock 1 as your first 2 picks. Well, guess what? You now have to play an extremely similar map to the one that you just lost against this same roster. You're likely not changing any players anyway, so now these same players have to be able to mentally reset, hop back on it, and put up winning scores after just losing on a map that is nearly identical in terms of how it plays.
Yeah, it's such a mental barrier that they're gonna have to overcome here if they want to stay in this match and in the winners bracket itself. In terms of strategy, you could argue P-Model have played this beautifully in this second set, but of course they've still got to prove that they're able to continue that Nomad 1 victory, take this Hard Rock 1, which leads them into their double picks, which will be very dangerous for SlopDozers if they drop this map.
Like we said, it is going to be the same roster once again. Monk, Lifeline, Jordan, and Shiraha Yuki in for AR7 SlopDozer. Now, Skill, Intercamping, Reedcat, and Arnold once again in for P-Model. So, both teams with the exact same roster on nearly identical maps between Nomad 1 and Hard Rock 1. We'll see if the reset can occur for AR7 SlopDozer, or if one of their members may be more comfortable on the Hard Rock than the Nomad for this type of map, and they're able to come out on top, make the set a bit closer. But dropping 2 breakpoints right at the start of the match is almost a death sentence. So they're going to need to pull out all the stops for this one. Reedcat and Arnold breaking early. Arnold, getting slow slidered on that one, and Skill dropping now as well.
Yeah, not a great start for them, but we know that this team can come back in hard. We've seen Monk the Dawn and Arnold do a bit of a trade there. But otherwise, holding very strong across all of their players. There is Shiraha Yuki, though, which is a bit of a surprising break for SlopDozers, quite a big one. As the full combos remaining are just intercamming. Reedcat, I think, who had an early break, but he's still up there. And Jordan the Bear and Lifeline still holding for SlopDozers. But again, a long way to go in this map, and we've seen it change hands before. But it's a good start for SlopDozers on this crucial map.
It definitely is, but as you say that, both Jordan and Shiraha Yuki dropped their combos, and it's now only Lifeline and Monk the Dawn holding eerily similar combos to Reedcat and Arnold. Arnold does drop, so it's only Reedcat now putting up the score for P-Model. Lifeline and Monk with a little bit of pressure removed, able to just combo game their way through, and as long as they can hold on, that score lead is going to continue growing in the favor of AR7 SlopDozer. Only Reedcat standing between AR7 and their first point in this second set.
Yeah, it's all about just remaining comfortable. There goes Monk the Dawn, big supporting combo. Shiraha Yuki as well. And suddenly, the dynamic changes with Jordan the Bear breaking as well. Only Arnold dropping for the side of P-Model.
Yeah, and now it's only Lifeline up against a Reedcat, which is basically a matching combo with that accuracy advantage. You look at the score and it's 500 versus 520k, and now Lifeline's combo is gone as well. That almost certainly seals it up. It is 3 high combos, Reedcat on 1k, Skill and Intercamping on 600 combo each. I mean, that is a 2300 combo advantage right now for P-Model cumulative, so this is just basically over. You can see that score lead shoot up already over 200,000 just 15-20 seconds after the break from Lifeline, and that is going to be the second break point here in the second set. Like you said, Demarsh, the strategy from P-Model played very, very well. I think the mental blow of losing Nomad 1 is a big part of why this point goes over, but even then, Arnold putting up, relatively strong scores on Nomad 1, and now an okay score here on Hard Rock 1, in addition to these big combos now from Reedcat and Skill.
Yeah, and it was another case of what happened with Nomad 1. SlopDozer, they had the better start out of the gate, but they just weren't able to keep up their consistency, and the recovery from P-Model is what's done the damage on both the Nomad 1 and this Hard Rock 1. And now they are in a winning position to close this out.
And close it out, I think they will. If you remember their next pick, it wasn't something that AR7 SlopDozer did very well on the first time around. And now that Arnold's here, it's almost certainly going the way of P Model. The next pick that they have up their sleeve is Double Time 2. And 237 BPM streams on an AR8 Double Time map. There's not a lot of maps in the pool that are more suited to Arnold than this one. I think this is almost a foregone conclusion. With the addition of Arnold, they get to leave skill out on this map. And just for context, FG Sky close to 800k, Intercam being 750k, Sawada 650k last time around. Skill got 200k. So replacing skill with Arnold can net them, 700k score in addition to what they already had, which was 2.4 million. So you almost expect to see a 3 million team score plus come out of P Model on this map now, even missing Utami for this lineup. So this is a very, very desperate situation if you are AR7 SlopDozer, and they are hard pressed to find a way out of it, but you have to favor the sweep coming through for P Model right now.
Yeah, this second set doesn't bode well at all for SlopDozers. Even if they manage to somehow scrape apart a victory, they have to go straight into another DT map. It's just, they're in a very bad spot at this point, and I don't think there's a lot they can do regardless of this map, because that second DT3 is not gonna go in their favor at all, I think, even if they could pick up this DT2.
It's gonna be tough. If they do manage to win Double Time 2, right? Let's say they do manage to win Double Time 2, even if it's close, that does bode very well for their chances on Double Time 3, because at least they're either making it close and winning, or they're winning by a wider margin than what we expect. So as long as that's able to happen, I actually like their chances at pulling out the reverse sweep, or at least getting to tiebreaker. But if that's the case, I have more questions than anything else about what happened to P Model, because this roster, the last time they played this map, was absolutely fantastic. So you're going to be hard-pressed if you are AR7 SlopDozer to make that reverse sweep happen. Early breaks from Monk the Dawn, Jordan the Bear, Shiraha Yuki, Lifeline, everybody dropping down early on here. And yes, there was an early break from Arnold and Intercamping, but Sawada and FG Sky still holding on to the full combos here. And just nobody on the side of AR7 SlopDozer really able to hold on to any combo at all. We are halfway through the map, and it is 1 million to 350k in terms of the team score. I think this one is said and done. It's going to be P Model moving on to the winners bracket semifinals.
Yeah, very unfortunate for SlopDozers. We were kind of hoping for that third set, but we were also under the assumption that all of these teams would have their full lineups, and it just hasn't happened here. But P Model had that, I guess you could call him a substitution in Arnold in that second set, which just blew open the water dam, and they are gonna take this pick in incredible fashion. Look at this team score coming out from P Model here.
Yeah, that's the kind of team score that we expect. Around 700k added to the score. Well, that's almost exactly what happened. They added a whopping 670,000 score to their team score with the addition of Arnold for that last round. AR7 SlopDozers just not having a chance on the double time pick, and that is going to spell their drop to the losers bracket. Unfortunate scheduling issues for AR7 SlopDozer, clearly not at their full strength, missing not only Rafis but AT and Grand Senpai all at the same time, so missing 3 players. But of course P Model missing Arnold there in the first set and adding him in the second set, so still missing 2 players in the second set and able to come out on top. So congratulations to P Model for coming out victorious in this winner's bracket quarterfinals match. They're going to move on to the winner's bracket semifinals now. They're going to be facing off against the winner of Whispering Almond versus which is happening later on today.